Good afternoon, everybody, and a warm welcome to our webinar today. My name is Nikitin, and I have the big honor of being the head of studies of the International Screen Institute. We are a training provider based in Vienna, Austria, and we offer from now on 4 courses a year. One on the very important topic for us of sustainability management, which we will talk about today with our course director, Katja Schwarz. We also offer business and legal. We have the audience design lab, and we soon have a new course called Market Ready. We wouldn't be able to do all our activities without the generous support of the Creative Europe program of the European Union, the Arts and Culture Ministry of Austria, and WAM. But now, without further ado, it's my big honor to introduce to you tonight's guest speaker, Katja Schwarz, who has a very, very long track record in the film industry and especially working on sustainability issues. Katja, thanks for being with us today. You're also our course director, as mentioned, and the floor is all yours. Please, Katja.
Thank you very much, Nikki. And a very warm welcome from my side and also to all our international guests, because it's really fantastic to have you all here, as sustainability, and to save the world, let's say, is always teamwork, and we can only do it and achieve it together. So just a few words to my background. I'm in the media and film industry since the 1993, so 30 years now meanwhile. And I had working for a production company in Germany in 2010, the occasion to introduce, or the opportunity to introduce sustainable filmmaking, or let's say green filmmaking, into all German-speaking countries. We could lay the basis then, and since then I have the pleasure to be in international exchange, and also we call it green consulting now for production companies as well as for broadcasters, film festivals, or film schools. And now it's my pleasure and honor to lead the sustainability management course at the International Screen Institute. As you have read in the invitation, we are going to talk about sustainability management, a 360-degree approach of eco-friendly life hacks for inspiring and successful business and project managers. So to talk about the title, we have the 360 degrees approach, because we are looking at sustainability with all its dimensions, and also the we call it eco-friendly in our system, in our present, most of the time, capitalistic systems. We always have to have a look, apart from ecology, also on economy. Therefore, eco-friendly life hacks is double. Yes, and of course for inspiring people, because our industry creative sector is the most creative, I'd say, and we can inspire other people. And of course, all of us want to be business and project managers who are successful. So the agenda for today, to say it in a few words, we are speaking about the present day challenges and the 360-degree approaches, life hacks. I've chosen spaces and communication, and more about the multidimensional approach. Afterwards, we will have enough time for questions and answers. You can write them into the chat or to the Q&A place where you space which you find on your computer, on your desktop. So we are presently facing various challenges. One is to prevent climate catastrophe. And just these days, the IPCC has published the actual report, and they have a basis of 80,000 studies and reports, and it was on the it is not the IPCC, but it's the United Nations behind who are publishing this report. So this is the most obvious challenge. We also have then moving on here, unequal distribution and destructive use of natural resources, as in the Sustainable Development Goals, also already stated, which we all together have decided we want to achieve until 2030, a few years left. And we are finding unfair working conditions and payment in other branches and industry, as well as in our industry. And now, especially when talking about creating audiovisual output, we have the Nostradamus report results and also the results of the Looking Glass. For us, it's quite difficult. We have poor conditions to have a family, whether we are speaking about taking care of young or elderly people. There's scarce part-time working options, though we love our job and would like to stay in it. According to the Nostradamus report, there is always a gap between change versus uncertainty. So people like to stay in their routines, because otherwise they run the risk that maybe something is not going well or failing. And that's one of the reasons why we have difficulties in driving the necessary changes towards a sustainable future and the baselines for our future generations. And in the Looking Glass from UK 2 years ago, they have stated a higher rate of depressions, suicide, and similar than in our professions. So we are really facing, apart from other challenges like financial, etc., also mental health and well-being problems. Though our creative sector is among those with the biggest impact, our audiovisual output is really like an interface. So to talk about this, we are creating the images in the heads of the audience. What people learn listening to the news, watching movies or snaps, does have an influence on them, whether consciously or not. They are perceiving how we organize our cinemas, festivals, etc. And we are interconnected with nearly every single industry. Thus, we can create the necessary offers by our demands. So our audiovisual input is like an interface, and everything what we are doing is storytelling and has got an impact. We can foster the European Green Deal by acting, finding, and showing solutions, driving the change. It's really up to us. And creativity, which is basic of our doing and activities, enhances innovation, and innovation is revamping our routines. That's now moving on here. To say it in a nutshell, we can create the change we want to see together, and it's up to us. We want to achieve tipping points, the changeover points, how they say in electricity, and not intending to add too much pressure on you and me. There are a huge responsibility and great potential coming along with this, our impact. And to encourage you, I now would like to cite Leonard Cohen with there is a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in. And we have on the one hand the gaps, I mentioned it in the very beginnings, gap cracks, and we would and that's how the light comes in. And on the other hand, we have the cracks, who are in sports also aces. And so we have the potential within us. And I'd like to continue encouraging, speaking about our potential by also citing the French famous, I'd say, multidimensionalist artist Francis Picabia. Our heads around so our thoughts can change direction. And that's, we can think, artists can think the change. And therefore, I'm very thankful to the founders of International Screen Institute. I now mentioned Terramata and Satel Film, and all partners and supporters for choosing 360 degrees approaches. So we have planet, resources, and people, and the interrelation between everything. So the planet, I'd say, stays for the ecological aspects. We have with the resources, the economical aspects, and we have with the people, the social dimension. So all famous dimensions of the triangle of sustainability. And now when we come to the planet, our basis of existence, we have started to, and our air, water, earth, climate, and biodiversity. Since the image had been taken 51 years ago, the population has doubled. And now everybody understands that we have to, it's the means of livelihood for future generations. We have to change our routines. We can express our impact by life cycle assessments, footprints, handprints. We can do this for water, global warming, by greenhouse gases, mostly expressed in carbon dioxide equivalents. So we know. Nevertheless, we still are lacking a little bit in resources management. And this would be the next slide. We have natural, human, financial resources, and they are all interconnected, I'd say, in our world presently with economy, unfortunately. And the other way around, therefore, it's always worth taking a fresh look at the power of money and corporate sustainabilities. So for instance, what influences do funds or film funds have? Which advantages come along with sustainable financing? So we have the ESGs, environmental, social governance. You become preferred partners or for investors or for also people who would like to work with you, and so you are becoming more interesting for talents and skilled people, for instance, as an employer. And that's people, that's us, crucial for sustainable development. Therefore, we need management techniques, how to improve mental well-being and health protection, leadership skills, how to keep workforce when your team is under pressure, and create an amiable environment where creativity can thrive. Thus, the 360 degrees approaches multiplied by all our potential mean sustainability management and empowerment. Empowerment like climate protection empowerment, empowerment to contribute in achieving the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. Yes. Now I've promised you some life hacks, and I said it would be about space and communication. So let's start with physical space. Nearly everybody has a working space. It may be an office, including home office. It may be workshop, studio, a kitchen, a desk, cinema. It can be a caravan, a car, atelier. Our surroundings have an impact, not only on the environment, but they can optimize also workflows and measurable improve well-being. So I'd like to talk with you about energy and mobility, equipment and internet communication technologies, which mean more value, less waste if we do it in the right way, and workspaces who are enhancing creativity. We can influence our surroundings. If talking about building-related workspaces, the buildings and construction sector accounted for 36% of final energy use and 39% of energy and process-related carbon dioxide emissions in 2018, according to the UN report. So it does really have a big impact, and we have to improve conditions. Equipment and ICT, with equipment and ICT, we can tackle the supply chain problems and everything around waste. And we can sometimes reduce traveling, how we have learned in the pandemic situation. And the pandemic situation did make faster the digital evolution by 8 or 7 years. So it's really interesting that there are also I wouldn't call it advantages, but every crisis and situation is also leading to evolution. And with clever planned workspaces, we can foster innovation by enhancing creativity and well-being. And talking about thank you, energy and mobility, in order to cope with the amount of natural resources and renewable energy on the one hand, and to reduce greenhouse gas emissions as soon as possible. On the other hand, we need a higher efficiency of energy use. We can do it in our buildings. So first of all, choose an energy supplier which provides electricity from 100% renewable sources. And you find on the right side, an image from photovoltaic station. It's even mobile possible to gain energy. We have it in southern countries, Italy, Spain, etc. It's just, in my opinion, not used as much as would be possible. We haven't taken the whole potential. It's from Berlinale, very fresh, this year's edition of Berlinale. And I would also like to encourage power supply from grid is better than generators and batteries. So when designing a room, when planning a place, when planning the location for shooting, try to get plug and play, for instance, in the rooms beyond desks, to spread into and across rooms. Power plugs enable also individual work in places where power is not usually accessible, which is also giving us the occasion to move around. And LAN cable offerings make it possible to forego the use of Wi-Fi or mobile data. It's again having more spending more energy. This way, they reduce radiation exposure, energy consumption, and greenhouse gas emissions. And we are coming to the next. So you see, we have, it's fine. We have what we have on location, the same in the building. So it's no matter whether we are talking about green filmmaking, shooting, or we are talking about all options we have inside the buildings, we can think in the same direction. And also use rechargeable batteries instead of single-use batteries. One point of this is that not only you can be more cost efficient by 38%, you can reduce carbon emissions by 99%. At least we have checked this by shooting 90-minute feature film. And the other point is waste. When you take a battery accumulator, we have 10% of carbon. We have 20% of manganese, 20% of zinc, and 15% of steel. These 65% are being reused. Always non-reusable 35%. And we can go into it more deep, maybe later in the Q&A. And we have it in all sizes, accumulators. Yes, let's go to the next point regarding mobility. We have the big points which we know about, train instead of plane. But we also have small points like driving with a bicycle, using a cargo bike, using also other parts, using also e-bikes and e-cargo bikes, and often surroundings are not adapted to it. And so ask your owner of the building, your landlord, or demand covered bicycle parking and electric charging stations. And also automatic barriers must open not only for cars, but also for cargo bikes. So, and if we are a place where there's much water, we can also have showers. Yes, let's move on towards the circular economy, more value, less waste. When speaking about ICT, it's the European Union who would state it such with humor in an action plan. And circular economy is also a prerequisite for climate neutrality. Therefore, we should think in every of our acquisitions, supplying, doing activities, how can we reuse things? How can we construct them in order to keep the material in a cycle, or in a biological cycle, for instance, for consumption products, who after using by biodegradation are going to be the new biological nutrients, and for the next production, for instance, or in a technical cycle for service products who should be built in a modular design under fair working conditions, and including also a take-back strategy, so that they can be easily disassembled and become technical nutrients for the next activities. This is also what we want to think when we speak about Internet and Communication Technologies, ICT. And we have small options also in our in our influence. So please always ask your suppliers for devices produced on high social standards and fairly traded. It does have an influence on mankind, because when people are staying well and not too unfair treated, they can act in a different way and also protect their environment. Ask for circular design, which is the basis for circular economy. Choose a green animation studio or edit suite. What is going to happen with the server heat? We can reuse the heat instead of only cooling. And demand low carbon data storage, get low carbon production office software. And what is being possible now with cinemas, etc., you decide. And reduce data whenever possible. And we have very good examples for these topics. And we have all facts and figures about green cloud computing in the study, also in English. And we can know our water footprint, resources footprint for our activities. So we can be aware of and do something better. So let's come to the next slide. If you think you are not going to have an influence when you asking or demanding something, I have learned at the Naturvision Film Festival in Ludwigsburg, especially about green IT. Corporations calculate that only 2 out of 10 consumers will complain to them. Hence, your inquiries have a 5-fold effect. So let's conduct the necessary dialogues. And we come to the next point in talking about, yes, how can we enhance our own routines and change? And and also for people who are going to work with us, to overcome also the fear of change. It is very useful to offer different body positions to work in and enable versatile workplace situations. This is also the basis for agile working, and agile working methods and project management methods are very useful for changing, also for inventing something and for fostering innovations. And if you create a space where people are invited to move around, you can, and for yourself, you can not only have the health promoting aspects, but standing and moving around increase creativity by 60%, which helps to change the routines and encourage innovations. And so it's all about the people and how we can also offer them good possibilities also to communicate. Also, agile project management is also a way of communicating. And when you have spaces where people feel safe, you can enhance them by yes, by doing the potential and everything. So please create a safe space, as the team and partners, the staff, cooperation partners, employees, or creative people are crucial for the success of sustainability. They are the value creators. They are driving the change. And apart from this, they are a crucial element when implementing an environmental management system. You might think this is not so very interesting, but now it's part of the European Green Deal that everybody who needs money is is more and more organizations, so who needs money, has to show that he is implementing an environmental management system. And one part is of the environmental management system, like EMAS, for instance, the including the people you are working with or who are your employees. And more organizations have to comply when they need the financing. Also, we have the European Reporting Directive, and more people have to write reports. So we are all already advancing forward. Therefore, it's very important that the leaders and the head of an organization is the one promoting sustainability. And it is recommended to include the team in a stage as early as possible. And that's now where we have the great hope that when we in International Ice Cream Institute bring together all people from author to distributor, when we have the whole value creating chain, that we can achieve the 17 Sustainable Development Goals. And when we are communicating figures, it's most of the time the best to do it in an engaging and friendly way. Again, in order to minimize the uncertainty of the people, that they are open for the change and change management, and chances and risks, of course, and the threats we should always have be open others to talk to us. And also we should do it in the very beginning when we have negotiating contracts. And I'd say we can bear in mind Fair Firm Award criteria to easily have an approach talking to other people, which makes it easy to be open and change. Yes, we go to the next slide. So we have to make it a little bit shorter. We have in our course wonderful Anastasia Laukanen, and she is explaining us that people are, of course, are different. We have those who are taking news as deep adaptation versus climate optimism. We have hard, therefore there are also in communication different approaches: hard data, doom and gloom, inspiration and humor. And we come to the next slide. That also the psychologist, who is Catherine Dennis Gonzalez, who is very much working with people in the audiovisual sector. She has been speaking in our last edition of the course. How can you support your team if they are under pressure? And now it's again, if we are not safe, we are chronically in a state of evaluation and defensiveness, and therefore we create a safe space. It's once more one of the possibilities to drive the change. And that's why Catherine is also telling that mental health understanding is a crucial leadership skill. And attention, creativity, and problem solving are all depending whether we are in a fear circuitry or safe and social circuitry. So we come to the next slide. And so we have introduced into the course the introduction to social sustainability and mental health understanding. And social sustainability is about identifying and managing business impacts, both positive and negative, on people. It is important to manage impacts proactively, and the interconnection exists between mental health and well-being. Social sustainability management techniques can also create resilience and support the team if they under pressure, for instance, if too many people are ill and you have to deliver the same. And Catherine's offering deep dive into social sustainability and mental health awareness. And it is really very close, interconnected to our having success in doing the ecological transition. That's why we are talking about this in the course as well. We move on here. Also, when we have social strategies for team participation, maintaining personal well-being, and for the creation of safe spaces at work, we can easier implement all ecological changes, even if sometimes hard for the people, and eliminating barriers to discrimination and leveling the playing field might sound at the very beginning not very interconnected to the economical part, but there are advantages coming along with implementing diversity, equity, and inclusion in our strategies and business strategies. We have by McKinsey and others already some figures. So it was Francesca Scott sharing these with us. She's a journalist and diversity, equity, and inclusion officer at the European Broadcasting Union. So McKinsey says top quartile with women on executive leadership is 21% and profitable, and 27% better at creating value. Okay, that's a fact. And we have stating the World Economic Forum, top quarterly ethnic and culturally diverse representation are 36% to outperform. We have also Boston Consulting Group and co-equal that teams are 158% more likely to understand their customer base, audience in our case, if at least one member is representative of their target demographic. So therefore, this is going to be one of the topics in the sustainability management course. And we have Tim Wagendorp from the Flanders Audiovisual Film Fund, head of European Film Agency's Sustainability Working Group. He is very experienced in talking with us about the power of money, which power do film funds have, and we have been speaking before, what are the marginal abatement costs, how are they a part of our audiovisual output business, and what can we achieve. And next will be introducing and implementing an environmental management system. As we said before, it's crucial and necessary for many organizations now due to EU regulations, and also a sustainable management system. And it's the Plan, Do, Check, Act PDCA model, which we know from other project management. And we are going through the various steps so that afterwards everybody feels, yes, I can. I can do it also in my small organization, because it's not depending on the amount of people. It can also be only 2 people from 2 to 2,000. So, and we have next the digital transformation, opportunity or challenge for carbon transition. I mentioned before all these aspects and small aspects, some of the aspects of ICT. In the end, when talking about data storage, streaming, and digital solutions, we have a big impact on ecological, social, and economical dimensions of sustainability. And it's from behavior and use to facts and figures about this, and we are happy to have Maxime Efouhes from the Fish Shift project in France and Donald Hauer from the Edison Film Production and Better Stream in Germany. He was also the founder of the Green Me Festival already in 2008. And we come, as we have been speaking about project management and business operations, we also will have Hemini Mehta, PhD, who is in the sustainability lead, European Broadcasting Union, the very professional regarding all public service media, green productions, cloud sustainability, and green artificial intelligence. All topics which are approaching more and more to us, whether we like it or not. And she will have take a cultural change in organizations, look on this. And now when sustainability meanwhile has become part not only of a small department or team, but of the whole organization with best practices. And she is also very much speaking about ecological sustainability and also broadcasting company best practices. We are coming to the end, closer to the end. We get to the next, yes, exactly, slide with checking our suppliers. Again, we have the sustainable development goals, and we have various European labels and certifications, retail labels, guide to certificates, and quality control, which will make it more easy for us to take the informed decisions when acquisitions, and also what are business corporations and what impact they have in creative industries. And as we have networking, pardon me, it's not the whole networking and community building in our audiovisual sector. We tend to work alone. We have to work alone very often, but it's always teamwork, and therefore we gave a very deep aspect of networking and community building into the course. And we have a professional, Nikolaj, who is sharing it with us. In the last edition, we had Larry Engel, the editor, publisher of the Code of Best Practices for Sustainable Filmmaking, already in 2009 from the American University in Washington. He gave us a carbon literacy refresher. And we have been speaking about diversity, equity, Catherine Dennis-Gonzalez, social sustainability, corporate sustainability, checking out your suppliers. And the Shaden Diab would explain then the sustainability management systems, and Tim about the power of money. We can, if we want to go deep again into office spaces, workstations, and buildings, I'd suggest we go for light, something new, what not everybody does have. We have it on location, and we have it in the offices, and we have professional for communicating sustainability approaches and techniques, and the just mentioned the data storage, streaming, and digital solutions professionals. So when we have all the realms you might be thinking of when talking about green film, green audiovisual sector, we have the idea and development, the team aspect, the environment, energy, travel and transport, construction and offices, health protection, food and catering, and then always evaluation and dissemination. If we see that our participants are going to have different levels when applying and different expectations, we will offer a free day in advance on Zoom for the sustainability management course to tackle these topics, which might be not the main topics during the course. So I can only encourage you to really participate during the course, and also tell us what you really need, and also on an international level. So as audiovisual output is really climate protection, empowerment, and everything is storytelling, and everything what we do has got an impact. So thank you for listening. And there might be questions left. And when we have this sustainability management course now in June in Vienna, and then some part online in November, and presently the early bird, I hand over to our Master of Ceremony, Nikolaj Nikitin.
Well, thanks so much, Katja, for this really insightful presentation, and of course a teaser of the seminar itself. I'd like to invite all our guests to ask questions. For this, you just have to raise your digital hand and write us something into the chat, and then we will read out the questions. But as we all know, you probably need some time, but before you come up with a question, let me break the ice and start with asking you, Katja, to elaborate a bit on this very important and interesting topic of circular economy, which sounds very challenging, and it sounds like that everybody can achieve it, even if it is on a small level in their own daily work, correct?
Yes, correct. It can be achieved on the one hand on demanding what that we are challenging the supply chain, all providers, everybody. It can also be achieved when we are going to construct something. So we should always ask for circular design, for hardware and software, for instance, which can be easily repaired, which is structured in a modular way where parts can be replaced and upgraded, let's say, updated and upgraded also, where the software can be updated and upgraded. And at the same time, of course, we can ask this also for shooting equipment. I'm film shooting equipment, pardon me. So when I'm buying the photographer is getting for a camera or everything. So we can think it in every process, as the amount of resources is limited, and the reusage of resources is one of the big solutions. And if things come to the end of the first part of the life, they can be disassembled and or recycled or reused in another way. I hope this is not too theoretical, but when constructing something ourselves, we should also think it to be easily assembled and disassembled.
And I'm sure you'll give a lot of practical advices during the seminar.
Yes, the seminar, definitely. It is much more eco-friendly than today we might have been. I've got the impression. So it's really all dimensions of, yes, sustainability. I just mentioned especially those more special ones, as we are having an audience today, and it's really great to have people from also the various film funds and all who have been working on the green film and also the Eureka carbon calculator. And but it's not especially for people who are in a leading position. It's just thought to be for everybody to connect.
So once again, everybody in this call, please feel free to use the opportunity to ask Katja a question about her talk just now, but maybe also about the seminar. So I see actually a question, so I will read it to you, Katja. Are there European platforms where to find strategic solution industries, MBA courses, and shared technologies for a sustainable green film? And this question is from Barbara Di Mico.
Okay, hello, Barbara. We are having platforms on various levels. And the point is, like, for instance, green film or Eureka, and also in Germany, for instance, Green Motion. They are publishing what can be done at least. So it's various ways. So green film, it's a fantastic initiative from Torino Film Lab and other film funds where you can find a certification system, and they are saying themselves, so we are giving some, we start with the beginning with some options, and then we want to make it to be more and more and more. And we have the Eureka European calculator. It's up to the user to make it more and more complex. We have various green consultant trainings, and therefore we would like to add the other aspects, as there are already excellent trainings who are focusing only on ecology, which is now really a crucial part. And we took a little bit another way, but with our participants from the previous edition, we already installed kind of a library to make it a whole information space for people on various levels, on various topics who are interested in. So it's also the community building aspect. And about the MBAs, I can't tell you sincerely where these courses are. I think now more and more universities are offering it. I know it in Germany, the Leuphana University. So in your country, Barbara Di Mico, it might be Italy. I'm sure that some of the film funds, at least Torino Film Lab and also in Sardinia, they are offering trainings. So when you speak about green filming, I think you mean ecological green filmmaking and with the shooting process. And yes.
Barbara, we hope this was answering your question. We can unmute you if you want to ask something more. And I encourage all the others to either write or just raise your hand so we can take you. Barbara, you want to say something? Back office, can we give Barbara the mic? Does it work? No? Okay. We just try one more time. Barbara?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for answering. My next question is about the financial support or tax exemptions for a green film, because I'm sorry, I'm a producer and a UPN manager for TV and films. And actually, I have some problems here in Italy to find something that can help me to have a green financial budget for my products. So I know that there are some European solutions, but I need to know if you know exactly if we have institutions or financial I don't know, financial system only for green film, because so
Well,
Thank
wonderful question. I think that's something we are all dreaming of.
okay.
Specialized in this this way of financing. Presently, it's more that all of us should be brave enough to talk about the real costs. As at the beginning, it's always cost a little bit more than later on. It's even cost saving because we are consuming less energy, etc. And we should be brave enough, especially when we are producers, to talk to the client about reality. And because it's the governments, it's the funds, they all should support people in driving the change, and it's depending on the countries where who is going to be supported. If we are not talking about the European level, so give us some time to do a research about it, or to check it with those whom we know, and yes, let's stay in contact, I'd say.
Okay, thank you very much.
And now we have Ludmila with us, who also has a question. Let's also try with you, Ludmila, to give her the mic. Ludmila? Dear back office, does it work? Can we hear Ludmila? Otherwise, maybe I just read the question. So Ludmila Gabuzi is writing us a technical question about the course. After attending the course, will the participants receive some sort of certificate regarding green management?
Yes, they will receive a certificate, and it's sustainability management.
Okay, that was an easy one, Ludmila. Anybody else? Ludmila is thanking us. So maybe I then just use the moment to talk about something that was very important in your talk, Katja, and this is team communication. I mean, nowadays we all know it's all about communication and about teamwork. Many people work very remote from different areas on the same project. So what is the biggest challenge usually concerning implementing, a really well-working team communication in your experience?
Okay, so it's the biggest hindrance is fear, people being afraid of changing, as there are these sentences, never change a running system. And as long are you staying with your routines and how you know that is going to work, and you are having an output you want to have, you intend to have, people feel more secure and safe. And now we need the change. there won't be green producing and green filmmaking, and there won't be filmmaking and producing and festivals, everything on a long term like it was before. So it's very much about encouraging people taking serious their fears and what they are afraid of, offering solutions, and drive the change in this way. So yes, does this answer your question, Nikki?
Yes, yes, it does. And but I still want to offer.
Yes. Maybe I might add, it's also due to the fact that most of the time we are working under certain pressure, so budget pressure, financial or time pressure, and that's the reason why people are little bit afraid of changing, and that's the reason why others find solutions, and then it will be an easier way.
Thank you, Katja. I think this is really very important. As we all know, times are changing. There's always more stress, less budget. So thank you for this insight. Once more, I do it like, in an auction, 1, 2, really no other questions. We have already been talking for an hour. I could ask you for 1 hour at least more questions, Katja, but we should not forget that we have the seminar coming up. And for all of you who want to learn more, especially about the new trends, new laws, new financial and political decisions, I believe our experts and Katja will be able to answer a lot of questions. I just want to remind you all to sign up to our newsletter on our website, which you see on the slide. And of course, also follow us on social media. We are on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and of course also on Facebook. And this is, as we are very young and we have a very young back office team, great John and Fatima, who maybe we can also show the faces. Please check out more infos. You can also just make a picture of this QR code. And the main thing connected to this course, of course, is information that by the end of this week, we have an early bird deadline. You see it there on the 24th of March. You get a good discount. So those of you who are interested, please apply. Feel free to write us any questions that you might have concerning the course. Of course, please spread the word. And once again, Katja, I think we should maybe stress towards the end that this is not a course just for green producing, but much, much more, as you mentioned during your wonderful speech, right?
Yes, it's for all of us in the audiovisual sector and media creation. And the dissemination especially also. Yes.
Exactly. So this we just want to keep stressing because it's really a unique course, a unique possibility to get more insight. And I have to say, from my point of view, working in the industry now also for 3 decades, without this knowledge, I think none of us will be able to even survive the industry and be able to realize our projects, because this is becoming priority number 1.
Yes, and green producing is always included. It's part of the many things which we can do, and but it's much more. Yes, thank you.
Exactly. So thank you all. Thank you, Katja Schwarz. I'm not thanking myself, but I really want to thank Fatima and John. Fatima, John, can we please at least wave your thank you? Can you switch on, be part? No, apparently it doesn't work. But Fatima and John from our Vienna office were running. There they are. Hello, hello. So these are the 2 great colleagues who are running technically the show. Yes, so this is a nice, I think, farewell picture. To our dear listeners, stay tuned. Once again, follow us on social media, apply to the course, tell your friends about it. And once again, keep in mind, besides the sustainability management course, which will take on location in Vienna in June, and we'll have a digital follow-up in November, we have this year coming up a course on business and legal affairs. Those are for you who want to just know more about the so important business and especially legal side of our industry. We have the audience design lab with very experienced audience designers, which will help you to develop your film project. And we have coming up Market Ready with an official collaboration with Marché de Film at the Cannes Film Festival. We will take a group of participants next year so they can really get an insight into the market. So thanks again, dear Katja. Thanks, dear team, Fatima and John. I say farewell. Thanks for tuning in and see you soon and follow us. Bye-bye. Have a nice evening and a great start into a beautiful spring. Bye, everybody.